It's jazzy, man. I don't know.
I'm
That's
jazzy.
pretty sweet. You got some cool stuff going on there, Bob.
I'm
Well,
pretty
hey,
jazzy
welcome
and
to
sweet.
Cardboard Conversations. I'm Pat the Pauper, joined this evening by MTG Gaming Bob. How you doing, man?
Doing great on this Christmas Eve.
Yeah, can you believe it? This season's gone by so quickly.
I'll be honest. This was the first year. I'm normally like surprise, surprise for all you folks out there. I'm normally like super on the ball. I start my Christmas shopping in like August maybe, and I'm
Mm.
usually done by Thanksgiving. This year I didn't even start until like the first week of December sometime. I was slacking this year. I'm not gonna
Yeah, a little
lie.
bit late on it, huh? Hey, DJ.
Yeah, I think it's kind of honestly, it's just I think it's kind of one of those years where it's kind of a I don't know. I get this sort of slack feeling this year for the holidays. I don't know about you guys. Maybe it's partly the blizzard that just came through. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good season right now. It's nice and cold up here. It seems all wintry and stuff. It was actually funny. We had a fire truck just go through the neighborhood a little while ago with a guy dressed as Santa Claus waving at everybody.
It's too cold here for that shit.
Yeah, it's like 10 here.
It's just cold and miserable. I don't even know what it is. I stepped outside and said, "Nah, I don't want any of that. Thank you." It was a bit cold the last
Yeah.
couple of days. We went over to some friend's house yesterday, played some board games. So that's
Oh,
it.
nice.
We played a board game called Whitehall.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's
Unfamiliar.
it's like
Yeah.
it's a social deduction Jack the Ripper game. So
Hmm.
perfectly appropriate for the Christmas season.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun getting together with friends, though. Even though it was like freeze your nose off kind of
Hmm.
weather, it was pretty chilly.
Yeah, I
That was
went
a lot
down
of fun.
into town today. I actually hit up two different LGSs. It pretty lucky that here in town we've got two different stores like that. So talked to one of the owners, the guy I know down there. Actually both owners, I saw him today. And said, "Hey, I'm doing a live stream tomorrow. Got no real family around, so just gonna be hanging out, kind of, chilling on YouTube, doing some pack openings, card sorting, giveaways, that kind of stuff." And
Nice.
he was like, "Hey, celebrate the holidays a little bit more for me." And he gave me a set booster from Brothers War, so that was real
Oh,
nice of him.
right on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
My
nice to
buddy
get
gave
a.
me my buddy gave me a Innistrad book for the artwork. Dig that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we did
Hopefully everybody's getting
secrets.
stuff out there. Has everybody started getting their gifts? I know there's a lot of people. Speaking of Christmas holidays and
Yeah,
gifts,
yeah.
it blows my mind like what some people do. Like we're right in the heart of gift opening time for some people. That always blew my mind. When people open up all their gifts on Christmas Eve. Um, Typically why I've heard they do that is because they'll have like family coming over in the morning and they don't want to have to deal with all of that in the midst of receiving guests as well for like Christmas dinner, which always seems to be served at lunchtime. So we might be right in the middle of everybody opening their gifts as we're speaking here. This might be the heart of gift opening time. So we got any folks out there who've already opened any gifts? I let you guys know uh, a while ago. Maybe it's been 2 weeks now that I got my big gift.
The
I got
dual
the
land, right?
underground. I got the underground sea from Miss Sherry Vegas.
Uh, Sweet woman, that one.
Yeah, and I understand why she wanted to give it to me early, and it's kind of odd. So it's almost becoming a tradition because she orders the card, and last year, um, she went to give me the gift early, but it wasn't early enough to fall within TCG players' return policy, right? I don't remember what it is, but you don't have much time from opening the card, and the card was damaged that they sent me last year,
Oh,
right?
so
So
it
it
was
was a
good that
whole
you, yeah, got
it
that
was a
taken
whole
care
it
of.
was a whole debacle last year.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even end up getting like the replacement card from the dude until like sometime in February. Like
Oh,
after like
wow.
20 different, text messaging and emailing back and forth, and it was and she gave me the gift like the second week of December last year. So it was
Mm.
This year, she had me open it right away. As soon as it came in, she's like, "Hey, here's your gift early." Like she went and wrapped it, and like, "Here it is. Now look at it. Make sure it's still
Yeah,
okay."
right. Make sure it's not like messed up or anything.
But it
That's
wasn't. It was a
funny.
beautiful copy. I put pictures
Yeah.
on. I sent some pictures on Discord for folks. So I already got my big gift a couple weeks ago.
Hmm.
Anybody else?
Well, see, I'm actually kind of doing the opposite. Is the gift to myself for my Christmas here is going to be in like January. A couple of weeks, I'm going to go down to Boston with a few friends, do an all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue, and buy myself a computer. So I'm
Oh,
kind of,
nice.
pushing my holiday celebration just a couple of weeks out from here, but doing a little bit of a celebration tomorrow with everybody. So
A
looking
little
forward
jealous
to
of you
that.
guys. A little jealous of you guys out that way because you can go get good seafood anytime you want. I'm sure. Like, it might cost a couple bucks, but
Yeah. Yeah, it's not too bad.
we just don't even have like a good seafood place here.
Yeah,
It's
I get
unfortunate.
that. Yeah,
Like if I
no.
wanted some good lobster
Mm,
or clam strips,
yeah.
like I love fried clam strips. That's one of my favorite
Yep.
seafood. No, there ain't no place to get that around here.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Red Lobster, but that's Red Lobster's so bad.
Mm,
No offense to any Red Lobster employees
yeah, right.
listening in out there, but you guys suck. Your food is overpriced and tastes bad.
That's great. Uh,
But
yeah,
yeah, if I was you, oh, man,
yeah,
we go
we
and get
get
some crab. Ooh.
yeah, we get some pretty good stuff because Maine's not far from here, because I live pretty far up into Vermont. Yeah, we get pretty solid seafood action actually.
Yeah, I'm sure even where you are, I mean, you could probably go into
Hmm.
Maine to the coast if you really wanted to, but I'm
Yeah.
sure you have seafood restaurants in town, like
Hmm.
where you are.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
And I don't mean Red Lobster. I'm talking like real seafood, legit restaurants.
Yeah, like any like even mid-level restaurant around town will have like decent fish menus. I actually, yeah, we went out to lunch with some of our coworkers earlier this week, and I had baked haddock, and it was line caught. So I mean, yeah, for sure, it was really
Yeah,
good.
so you just kind of take some things a little bit for granted out there that yeah, like
Mm,
you get inland a bit here, and it's like, oh,
yeah,
well, that doesn't. And I grew
right.
up, kind of. I was born in Virginia, so I got
Mm,
really used to eating bay food, and it was delicious. Growing, I didn't even pay attention, but good lord, the food in Virginia was just so damn good. You always
oh
had fresh
wow,
veggies, always had fresh seafood, so you got kind of a best
just
of
looking
both
at
worlds. We didn't
the
get a lot of steak. Like, it's
comments
not a big
here.
steak place.
Wow, wife of Mox Fire's kids did all theirs Thursday morning. Interesting.
Wow, that's an interesting day.
Yeah.
Why Thursday morning? Was it family or something? I'm sure there's a reason.
Right. That's one of the complications here for the holidays is all of the coordination that you have to do. All these different cats you're trying to wrangle is always a big
Oh
difficulty.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, oh hey, my brother's going to be coming into town on, three
Hmm.
days before Christmas because
Yeah.
Christmas morning they're actually going to my other brother or sisters or cousins or
Right.
their
Right.
wife or yeah.
Yeah.
Holiday
Yeah.
organization is,
It's just
especially the bigger
craziness.
family you have,
Yeah.
it's always just, whew,
Oh yeah.
it's a rough one.
Yeah. My cousin's got four kids. Him and his wife there. So the six of them trying to figure out who's going where with what and the two different families. Yeah. They're
Yeah.
supposed to
See.
be leaving for the holidays, and our oldest got sick, and we wanted them to enjoy the gifts before we left. Ah, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
So, well, I hope that everybody's getting everything that they want from the holidays, no matter what it is, from a new computer to a bottle of booze to a dual land, or just to
Right.
spend time with the family. That's really the best part. We played, Yo, Dual Brain.
Hey, Merry Christmas to you as well, Dual Brain.
So we sat down this morning. God bless Sherry Vegas. We took the time to be patient with my mom playing a new style board game, the Harry Potter, which we love. It's a deck builder.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a really fun game, but it's got a lot of rules that my mom just, God bless her heart, not really familiar with. She's used to
Mm,
Yahtzee and Monopoly, but it was a
right.
family
Yeah.
time thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to sit down, three of us, and we muddled through a couple rounds of a board game this morning with my mom.
Nice. Well, that's great. Yeah,
So
maybe
just
I'll
like
end up
with,
doing some Christmas spell table tomorrow. Who knows?
you know what? Depending on what my family does, I might be down with you.
Mm.
Hell, might be down with you after this because they all seem to be doing their own thing. My mom's watching shows about Gilgamesh and all kinds of shit. My daughter's up in her
I
room.
think actually DJ is going to be going
Doing whatever.
live here at like 8 o'clock my time. So
Ah,
just like 50 minutes or so. So I think I was going to stop in, kind of shake hands as it were over there for a little bit.
okay.
But
Yeah,
I think,
I
yeah,
honestly
yeah,
don't know. I told Sherry that I'd be down here for at least 30 minutes, maybe more,
yeah.
but not too much more.
Yeah, that was
But
my figure. I know that the family is, oh, you got the family over and that kind of thing. So I want to make sure that I honor your time with them.
I haven't even fed them food, so they haven't complained yet. So I have to check within the next 30 or 40
Yeah,
minutes just to see.
yeah.
Uh-oh. I'm prepping, my big cooking's tomorrow, starting at
Yeah,
whatever,
that's
8
same
a.m.
thing. I That's my plan is I'm gonna get up a little bit early tomorrow and kind of cook myself a nice big breakfast. I got kielbasa, bacon, some sausages. I'm gonna make up
Nice.
some tater
Making me
tots,
hungry.
do a whole bunch of fried eggs. I got some nice everything bagels. I'm gonna toast up, probably put a little special butter on it, have a
Nice.
nice good day.
Yeah, we're
And
gonna
then
start. I'm gonna start with cooking breakfast and starting to prep for dinner. Yeah, I
hey,
throw a
Jenny's
turkey in
there.
the. I tell you what, as I get older and lazier, those boneless turkey breasts, you ever see them
Oh yeah,
like the
yeah,
butterball ones? Like I'll never cook a big turkey again.
yeah,
Forget all that nonsense. Those little butterball turkey things are so amazing. You get like a 3 pounder.
yeah,
Just make sure you thaw it 2 days early, and then chuck it in the in a crock pot
yeah,
for
yeah.
like 8 to 10 hours or whatever it is, and Bob's your uncle. It's tender, it's juicy. You don't have to carve. Like I always get stuck carving the damn things too, which I also
Yeah,
hate. So not only do I hate cooking a giant turkey in the oven,
yeah.
I hate
And then you're
carving the
like,
damn thing.
and then you're like obligated to make soup out of it afterwards, which don't
Dude,
get me wrong. I love like a nice good bone broth soup, but it's also great not to have to do that. It's like I just want to be done here.
yeah, it's so nice. Just like, oh, you got to carve the turkey? Fine, just slice it like a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
It's like there you go. Here's a
Yeah.
slice.
One of the
It's so
things I've been
wonderful.
doing is I get a like spiral cut ham or something. It just seems to be the easiest way to do it for me because it's, ready to rock.
Yeah, I have done. I'm done like spending entire days for Thanksgiving
Mexican
cooking
casserole,
or
what is
Christmas
that?
cooking. I don't
Is it
know.
just like a giant taco in a dish? Like, I'm wondering.
But it sounds good.
Yeah.
Man, I'm surprised to see so many people here. Hey, thanks for showing up, everybody. And
Yeah, for
I'll be
sure.
honest,
Thanks,
I've
y'all.
been sort of intentionally pushing myself out of the magic loop in everybody's circles. I still try to, pop in on shows and say hey,
Hmm.
but I felt that the best way for me to engage with magic at the moment is to just kind of catch a breath, step back for a moment from all the recent negativity, try to assess really what's going on with they've got a bunch of interesting stuff coming up, but I'm really trying to wrap my head around how I want to engage with magic this year. I've made it no secret um, that I'm cutting back a significant amount on my investing side of magic, but that doesn't mean I don't like playing it. It doesn't mean I don't want to collect some of the things. Um, but I just don't have the faith as in years past with the current regime that's there. So I'm not trying to make a statement with my wallet. I'm just following my heart and my gut, which is telling me back off a bit. And I've said before, even here, Lorcana still looks just as juicy for all the reasons that I stated before. A big Disney back product. It'll be rolling, the dice, and Dual Brain can tell you that I'm not real great at the or the roulette wheel. He bet on red, I bet on black, and the dealer laughed at me and said, "Huh, you just paid him."
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just how it works some days. Yeah, that's
I mean,
that's
literally,
the
that's what the
gambling.
dealer
Yeah.
like. He laughed at me at the table. I don't, Ed, if you're still here, if you remember that.
And I think Ed and I are with you as well. This year coming up is definitely going to be a real interesting perspective for the game. Um, I really hope to get back into playing more regular games with my pod. I'm getting more and more games on Spell Table, and I think the Commander Raids format is really going to start taking
Oh my
off the
God.
next couple of weeks. The next few months is going to be huge. So,
Ashen Wings, I don't know if you caught it last night on his live stream.
no.
Yeah, I tend to go against the flow a lot in a lot of ways, dual brain. But Ashen Wings, like even like brought up in public and we should probably do that here. I would love to do that, go through it and kind of explain some things. And he pointed out a couple things, and some of it I was like, oh God, I gotta ask you guys, like the poison counters. I don't think we spelled it out in the rules. Like, how many poison counters does the boss monster get? I don't think we put that in there. I don't know if we ever really settled on a number either.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't
it
think we
seems to me
had.
it should scale, base 10, probably plus 5 per player count poison counters it can have before it dies. But I don't think we spelled that out, so that was kind of dumb. But he went through the rules, like all the different sets. I mean, he went through the entire document. So that was really
Cool.
gracious of him. I really appreciate that. And I know that Dual Brain and Prime brought up the Commander Raids format, but even in its
Mm.
like not quite set in stone form, if y'all love playing Magic at all and you like playing Commander at all, please give the Commander Raids format a shot. If you have a link to the Google Doc,
Yeah, I'm
just
going to
can
pull
you
that
throw
up
that
now,
out there.
actually.
It's a lot of fun. Even if, you can play it solo too. By the way, if you're not sure if you want to play it with your pod or your peoples or whatnot, give it a shot solo so you understand sort of the vibe. It is literally, and it's not. I'm not just saying, man, we made a great thing. It's literally my preferred way to play Magic at the moment. It's so good.
It is
I just
honestly a
love the vibe.
blast. Yeah. I'm still
So
a big fan of Commander, but it's just so adversarial. And for the most part, if you're not winning, and even if you do, it can often leave a really poor taste in your mouth at the end of it. It's just, you know, tough
yeah, I've
sometimes
never
seeing
walked
the,
away. I've never walked away from a Commander Raids game just sour butt. You know what
oh
I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Every once in a
that
while we
sucks.
get our butts handed to us.
Sure.
That the monster can do some real, grimy stuff, and when it adds up, it can really ruin everybody. Can really take the wheels off your bike, and
But
sometimes,
I don't walk
it's
away salty.
yeah, that's
I
exactly it. It's like we all tried our best. We didn't win, but it was a good go of it, guys. Now let's roll up. Let's do another one. Yeah,
right. So
absolutely.
it definitely, even though it's Commander ish, it doesn't really feel to me a lot like Commander, right? There are similar elements to it. I don't know how else to put it, but it doesn't feel to me like they're almost entirely different games. Not almost, they are
Ooh,
entirely different games.
cookies. Oh, dang, that would have been a great idea. I was even at the store earlier. How did I not get cookies? I'm already fat enough. I shouldn't.
We have some stuff here. We have a few cookies laying about, but for some reason we did big lot of cookies on Thanksgiving this year. Odd choice, but we did.
Oh,
Um,
and we
so we
actually
got
had
a
a
few
cookie
cookies out there.
competition at my workplace earlier this week. Yeah, I had I think it was a dozen different
Oh
kind of
shit! I got one
entries.
winning Magic shirt.
Hey, what up,
Hmm.
Twiddler?
So, but I mean, I haven't opened my gifts yet. I mean, we open like one. We typically will do like one
Yeah.
gift that we give early. Yo, Twiddler.
Yeah, I
Um,
actually have like a
so
whole
we've done
stack.
that part.
Yeah, that's one of the things is I think that I'm gonna end up opening a lot of the packs and stuff I got for people tomorrow on the stream itself. So I think that's gonna be my kind of celebration, my present to myself as well. Even though the cards are gonna go out to the people who win them, I still get to open them up. So that's a huge fun thing. I love that, and just giving back. You know?
We need to figure out a way to give back with the commander raids. Like, we got to come up with
Yep.
a neat way to involve people that help spread the format and give back for helping spread the format. Sure, it's a form of bribery, but it's like bribing you to have sex. It's like, oh, well, it's good for me and I get something good for it.
That's funny.
That's a hard choice.
Mm,
Like,
mm.
commander raids. Yeah, I just liken commander raids to having sex. But it hopefully it's fun for you. and you can get something for it for, helping us get the word out, which is what Mr. Duggan said was the sort of key piece. Just play it,
The
get it out
biggest
there,
thing,
and that's
yeah.
the most important thing to get
Yeah.
rolling here. So everybody that's helped so far for helping spread the word on the Commander Raids format, thank you all. And we're going to try to figure out how to give stuff to people that help.
Yeah, some prize support for them. Figure something. Yeah. I mean, we've got a lot of different options for sure.
I'll tell you
Whether,
this, I've
yeah.
seen a lot less hate content that seems to be simmering down a bit. So I'm
Yeah, I
glad
think
that
with the holidays
is
and
over.
in general, just time kind of marching forward, we're getting closer to Dominaria Remastered, and people are looking
Sure.
forward instead of back, which I think this is a great time switching. The positivity is, kind of bubbling up to the top again, which is good. That's what I want to help instill. I think as content creators that we all need to kind of do that to make sure that what we're presenting is what we want to be part of as well. I mean, there were too many YouTube channels where when I was looking at Magic the Gathering stuff, it was just very negative. And since as a creator, I kind of need to see what other people are doing, what's up in the zeitgeist. And I was just clicking on all these videos that 5, 10, 30 minutes long. I'd just be unhappy by the end
I
of it.
don't want to hear it anymore. Yeah, I did
Yeah, and
exactly the same thing, and that's why I said this past week is it's
yeah,
Christmas week. I don't need that in my life. So
yeah. So,
I've been a little bit out of the loop this week. I haven't seen a lot of the spoiler stuff where people like, just magic disaster, blah. I'm like, all right, I don't
yeah,
care. I
it's
just next.
Yeah, I pretty much just don't watch anything the Magic Historian puts out because it's all clickbait and sensationalism, which a lot of people do anyways. And don't get me wrong, it's nice to see your numbers go up, but I did an experiment. I wanted to, really try it for the last couple weeks here of the year, see what I could do. I put out a short every day for like 10 days. I got like 40 more subscribers out of it. It's like, yeah, you just keep climbing right up. You just do the work. You bring the positivity. It's not like you tune into the command zone and terrible day. Oh no. And that what you present is what your channel becomes. And if all you want to do is poo-poo and be negative, then that's what you do. So
So I
that's
would like to address what Toidler just said there. I believe that people should be excited about Dominaria Remastered. I do think it's an excellent set.
I
I really
certainly
do.
am.
I
Yeah.
do want to caution people, though. I think that these cards are going to feel, and it's just a gut instinct,
Uh-oh.
that these cards are going to disproportionately experience a drop.
Oh.
And I think a lot of this, and some people, Rudy finally started acknowledging, that the meta pressures, meaning the macroeconomic situation being that we're in a recession here, finally acknowledged that that's really a main factor in luxury cardboard losing a lot of value. So you're going to have that. You're going to have a lot of reprints. Like, for example, look at Imperial Seal, right? It's a fine card. There's nothing wrong with that card. Really, it's one of the best tutors that you can get out there. Yeah, Vampiric
Yeah.
Tutor is probably
Yeah.
the best tutor you can get
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
And then followed, I don't know, somewhere in the top 3. If you're one of the top 3
Yeah.
tutors out there, you're doing damn good. And
Mm-hmm.
I think Imperial Seal is one of the top 3 black
Yeah.
tutors out there, right?
Yeah, it's not garbage by any stretch. It's the price
But
point that's the issue with it,
well,
which
but
we're
look at
seeing
it.
that reduction now. Yeah.
Look at the price point. Look at the price point drop for that,
What up, Drip?
because it was, it's a great card, which is my point. And
Mm.
so are a lot of cards in Dominaria Remastered.
Oh
But the
yeah,
reason that
yeah.
many of those have whatever value that they do
It's
have,
because they're
with the
rare.
exception of Force of Will, which
Yeah.
has had multiple reprintings,
Yeah.
the Urza, which is now on its 3rd reprinting in 3 years, many of these are going to drop, I think, significantly. So if you're getting into it because of the value, just a word of caution. I would advise, in all honesty, waiting, biding your time, and seeing what happens on this one for a value hunt, because they started with the box prices so high already. All right. I fear that people will get into it and they'll hit, a Force of Will, and maybe one other decent, maybe two tutors. Is that really $200 in value? And then the rest are just
Right.
bulk, because there's a lot of bulk in there. And then you have
Absolutely. Yeah.
these
And it's
tutors, even the Enlightened tutor at like $30, $40 now.
it's just
That
because
joker's
there's
gonna
not a
get
lot
cut
of
in
them.
half at least.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
be warned, folks, that that's what I suspect. So I would not, mortgage the farm here to go after Dominator Remastered. But that being said, if you want these cards and you need these cards, wow, what an excellent time and set to get very needed
Mm-hmm.
staple-ish cards from. So it's going to be fun, but
Interesting.
just be careful on
Let's see.
value.
Do you think the heads at WotC are running out of card ideas or are pumping remastered sets for money?
I'm not answering that because I want to stay happy. It's Christmas
Yeah.
Eve. Christmas Eve. Christmas
Well,
Eve.
no.
Drink
See,
some
this is
alcohol.
honest opinion on this one, though, and it's not negative by any stretch. Is I honestly do not think that the creative team at Wizards of the Coast, by any stretch, is running out of card ideas. We see hundreds of new cards every single year. I think this year was the largest influx of new legendary creatures. So, in a way, we've actually been lucky with so many different options. There are great picks from all throughout the different sets. Hey, what
Hey,
up?
there's Lance.
Good to have you, Lance. So, no, I don't think that they're running out of card ideas by any stretch. And as far as getting money for the remastered sets, oh, for sure. They're killing it. Tom Sprout Remastered was great. People ate that up. I know I certainly had a couple of boxes I ripped through of it. And Dominator Remastered. I got a few on order. Probably going to keep some of that sealed. Might do one or two for the channel. See if anybody wants to get in on some box breaks kind of thing. Share my good prices with other people if I can. But I think it's a lot like mastered sets, is that it's a good way to get cards that we haven't had for a long time back in circulation. Like Bob was just saying, we're going to get, the tutor cycle back in people's hands. It's going to lower the price so more people can actually play some of these really cool cards, which as a player is kind of what I want. Not kind of what I want, it's definitely what I want. So, yeah, this is a great time to be a Magic the Gathering player. As much as people will like bitch and moan about all the different sets and stuff, it's kind of great.
Well, but his question was generating a lot of money.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll say this about my opinion, and this Pat is in no way involved in this statement. I currently see Wizards of the Coast, not necessarily Hasbro, as Greece. And if you followed Greece in the last few years, they overdid it, economically speaking, and couldn't meet all their obligations. And just like, in my opinion, WotC's overdoing it. They're overprinting, they're trying to squeeze out as much reprint equity as possible, inundating their people. And I think that they're going to have to go through many of the same steps to try to recover. Do I think that Greece is going to fold as a country and become part of another country? No.
Oh
But I
man,
think
I
they're
thought
going
you
to
meant the
have to get to.
musical at first. I was
No,
like,
I mean
what?
the
What's?
country.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
this is an
The
analogy.
economic collapse. Yeah. Okay.
So in order for Greece to recover, they had to go through what's called austerity. And I think Magic is not at the point yet in WotC where they're going to be austere. I think that they take too long to wake up. They're they're like the Ents. They learn really slow. They just after 12 hours of deliberation, they just said good morning.
Mm.
So it's going to take them time. I have a feeling it's going to take a mix up of bodies there.
Yeah.
You're going to
Yeah.
have to be more austere, meaning not necessarily focus on making more money, but making the environment more healthy. I don't even know if they're aware that it's not all that healthy. The quarterly report certainly didn't report a good direction of where sales and things are going.
Mm.
I think this is going to be a wake-up year for them. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of stores that are changing their buying habits. I think there's going to be a lot of players, because of their own advice,
Yeah.
only engage with the products that you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And
So
that's a really good
careful
point.
what you
So,
wish for, Watsy, because I
yeah.
think they're going to get a mouthful of it this year and going
Yeah.
to have to take their medicine of
Oh yeah, they're
much
gonna have a nice crow
lower
pie
sales.
for Christmas Day. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
uh and it'll probably take a year, two, maybe three for them to
Yeah.
course correct.
Yeah,
So
again, that's one of the things they've touted before as a not even a detriment, just a data point, is that it takes 18 months to 24 months for a card set to be designed, worked through, play tested, manufactured, delivered. It takes close to 2 years on average for a card set to come to fruition. So the troubles that we're seeing now in Magic the Gathering will not truly be addressed until, I don't know, 2025 really.
yeah,
So yeah,
I feel that's pretty accurate.
it's gonna be a pretty interesting set of months coming up here. Whether or not
Well,
it's, yeah,
with
it's
what they said at the fireside chat, I don't even know if that's even truly apparent to them yet in
right,
aggregate.
right.
Unless she was just talking out of her ass, which
Mm.
fine. I get
I've
it. They
got to
do.
say that I am at best very lukewarm for this whole Phyrexian arc coming up. This year of 2023 in preview, I'm not super excited for. There's certainly going to be good cards, but I will heavily buy singles if I buy. I mean, I was actually just on TCG Player a bit earlier looking at some cards I want to get, and I'm just going to keep doing it that way. While I was on there, I saw, hey, I can get some really cool old packs. Theros Beyond Death. I don't know if I've ever opened those. Stuff looks pretty cool.
Oh, they're
Three
pretty dope
fifty,
because you
four
also get
dollars.
those Nyx lands in every pack, so that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
And
and
those Nyx lands,
there's
I
some
like them. The constellation lands.
and there's
I've
some
never
old
played them in my deck.
unsets. Couple of bucks for a pack of those. That's not too shabby. So some of the cards I don't want, I can trade in. I can get rid of. Liquidate, trade out. It's like people say. Trade up. Maybe I want to get some
Yo,
fancy version of something.
well, I mean, to kind of wrap it up, and you hit my talk button there, Twiddler. Congratulations on the question of the night, Dick. I don't think that they ran out of or are running out of creative ideas for new set ideas, new products. The problem is that they've essentially tapped the wallets. The wells have started to run dry. They've shaken the confidence of the people out there, whether it's through Magic 30, fireside chats, or any other host of things where they've misstepped. Quality control problems have turned to, we don't even talk about that. It's super apparent when you put, double masters cards in Commander Legends Baldur's Gates packs, that while it was okay, cool for a couple of people, for a lot of
Mm,
people, what that said is, holy shit, do you not have quality control in place?
right,
Can you
right.
stop the curling Pringle cards? Can you, like, there's so many issues, so many things in aggregate, as she liked to use that word, um, that don't just make people price sensitive, but they make them product sensitive. So is it a good time to be a Magic player for cheap? Sure. And I think it's going to get
Yeah.
cheaper if you want my honest to God. Like
Oh yeah.
they can raise the prices all they want, and most people are just going to keep waiting and waiting and waiting. You've
Yeah.
trained people to no longer buy pre-sale, and I don't recommend anybody buy pre-orders.
Yeah.
That you wait 6 months and wait for the Amazon dump, because it seems to be
Yep.
happening super regularly, and you're going to get it at super low prices. So
Oh yeah.
that's what they're training us to
Yeah.
do, and that's a dangerous model to follow.
Yeah, I just got a box of Strixhaven set, right? And I paid, I think it was like 80 something dollars, just about $90 after taxes and shipping. That and a Hawaiian shirt was like $118 shipped. Because
There you
you
go.
know me. Now, that's cheaper than it was on release, like a
Mm-hmm.
year ago. It's got the Mystical Archives, all those cool cards and stuff. I actually was down at Walmart and got some Japanese ones. So it's all about shop around. It's, shop S smart. Just be intelligent with your wallet, with your budget, and also figure out your budget. I want to spend more on going out and camping with friends and stuff over this coming year. So I'm going to reduce a couple of draft boxes. Maybe a collector's box goes by I don't get. You only miss the stuff that you wanted to get. It's not
Here's
missing
the
it if you just
problem.
let it go by.
Here's a problem with what they've done is that they once they change our buying habits as a herd, that herd mentality, once it sets in, it's going to be very difficult. Once they establish with us, it's okay to miss out on sets. It's okay to miss out on cards. It's going to be very difficult for them to reestablish the gotta buy it all mentality. It's And we're all definitely getting conditioned that it's okay to pass up on things, wait for
Hmm.
sales. Like Pat said, I never opened Theros Beyond Death. There's going to be some deals. Like I've watched other sets. Like he said, I think I saw a Theros Beyond set box. Theros Beyond, not set, but a Theros Beyond Death draft box was like 108 the other week. I'm like, wow,
Wow, that's
for a
cool.
3-year-old box, that's a pretty
Yeah,
decent price.
that would be really fun to like do a draft with out of nowhere with some buddies, That's stuff like that. Absolutely. Shop
Yeah,
around.
I agree, Ed. They're like once they train us to settle down, people pump the brakes,
Yeah.
only buy what you want. How did they get us? Okay, everybody, go buy everything again.
Hmm.
It's going to be hard to get that herd moving in that direction
Yeah.
again. It's
And I mean, all of the treatments and different stuff for what we're seeing for Phyrexia, the first one coming up in like March or whatever. I don't care about all of these different variations. I'm I'm displeased that there are like 9 or 10 different versions of Elish Norn. I don't even like the Elish Norn card. That's a
ooh.
ridiculous card. Like it's
When you
very
say you don't
strong.
like it, I mean it's strong,
Well,
or you don't
that's
like it
that's what I
because
mean.
it's kind of too strong.
Yeah, because it's too strong.
Yeah,
Like I
I
dislike
agree.
the first Elish Norn. Like all your stuff gets +2, all mine gets -2. That's not cool. Like, bro, that's get out of here with that noise. And now they're doing like the I get extra triggers, you get no triggers. Boy, that makes my anger biggers. Like it's not going to be a fun time. I want nothing to do with that jazz. But I know it's going to be in the meta. It's going to be a standard card. So I'm going to see that way too much.
Hey, Stefan, thanks or Tanya, whomever is there, both of you. Merry Christmas to you all.
Yeah, happy
Yeah,
holidays to
I'll tell you
everybody.
what. Yeah, just as cross promotion for everybody here, please, if you haven't checked out the other content creators that are here today, in case you're not aware, and Cosmic Seeds, correct me if I'm wrong, you also have a channel. But go check out our other content creators here. You haven't
Hey,
heard
it's
Dual Brain,
Caustic. Ah, man,
Cosmic
I bet
Seeds,
that guy's
Nifty
got a
Snip,
headache too.
Twiddler. Go support all these people. DJ, Mr. DJ Longhair, who I'm going to give it to him. What a great guy for getting so much of the content creator community together to try to bring a better product to all of you. I'm a better content creator because of DJ Longhair, and
Same, same.
meeting with all the people and really getting to network and interconnect. So I'm a better person and a better content creator for it. So a lot of credit goes to Mr. DJ Longhair for being an innovator in that space in the MTG world. And a lot of people should be thankful to him.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I gotta mimic that as well, because that's my same exact feeling. Is that if it weren't for him, I wouldn't have met any of the people that we have down in the comment section. Really, he's helped me grow my YouTube career, and it's it's been great getting to chat with him and hang out with everybody. He, he's like the guy in the park that feeds the pigeon, and I'm just one of those little birds coming up. It's nice to hang out.
Yeah. So DJ, in his
Big ups,
ripple
Holmes.
effect has, really done a great service for the entire YouTube community for Magic. And I my personal thanks to you, DJ. Thank you.
Aw, I bet he's blushing.
Well, I hope he takes it to heart. I mean it.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And he's
in
actually going to be
those,
doing a live stream in here just a little bit. So when we're
yeah.
done here,
So
make sure you go tune into his channel and catch some live action.
yeah,
Speaking of
I may
live,
pop in for a minute. I got to check in with the fam first.
speaking of being live, I'm actually going to go and do a live stream tomorrow for a good couple of hours. So anybody that wants to stop by, starting at about 10 a.m. Eastern, should be going for a good couple of hours. Going to be doing some giveaways, giving stuff back to the community, just going over a couple of decks I have, kind of opening up packs and just hanging out and chatting for a while. So I hope to see you, stop in for a while and listen.
Yeah, that's awesome. Please, do check in tomorrow. It's great to see everybody here, and I hope everybody's really having a good time during bad weather here for those on the East Coast. But I hope everybody has a happy holiday season here. I hope that you've had a good 2022, even with all the churn and turmoil. We've had some amazing stuff happen, and I still believe in Double Masters 2022. I do. I think when we look back at it, the dust settles. I think that's going to be the bomb diggity for this year. And that's that's pretty righteous considering we started the year with Kamigawa, which
Mm-hmm.
not a shabby set, folks. Great land cycle, good utility there. Streets of New
Merry Christmas
Capenna
to you.
bringing us, um,
Make sure you leave out the
the
beer and pickle for Santa.
yeah, we've already got the pickle in the tree. We have a pickle ornament. There's a whole thing there. You can look it up. So just like kind of a 1 or 2 minute year in review here. With Kamigawa, the great little chase of the neon ink, but you have a lot of really good cards in that set. It's a really good set. So I'd highly recommend if you can get good deals on it. That's one to keep your eye out for. And I think you should be able to find some good deals. I've seen some pretty low actually.
Yeah.
You had the Streets of New Capenna, which saw the completion of the Triome cycle. Don't miss out on that one. Don't sleep on that, folks, because the
that
Triomes
friggin'
are
ledger
so good in
shredder.
so many cases.
That bird, that thing was just ledger shredding up my wallet.
That was pretty good.
A lot of really cool
there's
artwork.
just so many cards.
Yeah.
In Streets of New Capenna that really, in that where we got Titan of Industry. I mean, that's a pretty beastie card.
Between New Capenna and Kamigawa, we had some really great sets starting off the year, and it was a phenomenal go. And Double Masters 22 as well this year for summertime, right?
Well, let's not skip over Baldur's Gate. As much conflict as that introduced into the community, it was mainly a price point problem because the Dragon Cycle isn't terrible. The land
I
cycle.
was just going to tease you on that. I know how much you loved the dragons out of it.
That's not, but don't forget it did bring us the battle bond lands, which is nothing to laugh at, especially if you're a commander player, right? They don't do diggity in our format. They kind of suck. They come and tapped automatically. But that's something you also don't want to miss out on at low prices, because if they kind of cut the tap off, which I think they need to do, they've been really printing the land cycles so heavy that they're sort of, fetch lands in the single digits, okay. The professor can never bitch at them about not reprinting fetch lands in meaningful numbers again, because I think they went a little too far.
Yeah, I actually got to pick up some of those. I think, I traded in some cards into Card Kingdom here just a little while ago, and I think I should use some of my credit to snag some fetches while they're at bargain bin prices.
Even Baldur's Gate, folks, don't slough it off. And there's some actually decent cards in Baldur's Gate as well. And since it's like out of, it came out like with a flat tire and it's out of mind. So in this kind of economy, really not a bad time to get your hands on some. I think I saw like some set boxes below $70, like $69 on sale or something. I was like, geez. So, there are good cards in those if you get them. So, not too bad. And at a minimum, while they're still in print, pick up the land cycle, because it's, at least one of each at a minimum, which you should be able to get all 5 for, what would you say, Pat? And don't forget, it was Reflecting Pool was in there too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was.
So you could probably get all 6 of those lands for
maybe
less than $50 would be my guess. I haven't checked, but
$40 after taxes and shipping, maybe.
So I'm going to say you need those as a player, as a commander player. If you play in commander, you're going to want to have those. And for $40 or $50 for all 6 lands, very usable lands, make sure you get a set of those. Moving on to
just a month after that, we had Double Masters 22 come out. Now, as a huge banger of a set. I still got a collector's box of it sealed. That's right. I was such a proponent of it. I was actually able to keep some of it sealed because I still believe in it. Prices on it, definitely pretty reasonable right now. The collector boxes are barely over what they were when it came out. So 7 months later, we're still at a pretty good buy on that. So if you want to get into that, pretty cool. And they had a whole lot of really great cards in there too. It being a reprint set, it was stuff from all over Magic's history. And like we were talking before, Imperial Seal got another tutor right back in the cycle for people if they can afford that one. And since people really got into opening it, I did a lot of it myself. I think Bob even had a couple of packs here and there. It was good that
I've I've
people
I've
were able to.
opened I've opened some, not a tremendous amount, but
Hmm.
I'm going to echo that. I think when things finally turn around, people are going to go, "Oh yeah, Double Master really was." All right, so let's just throw some things off the top of our head about what's in Double Masters. All right, how about we just start right at the top there? Ren and Six,
Ooh,
the
Cabin of
Eldrazi,
Souls. Yep.
the
Dockside.
Eldrazi's, Doc Master, Dockside Extortionist.
Yep. You got
Okay, I mean,
Mana
Force of
Vault was in
Negation.
there. Yep. Mana Drain. Yeah, Phyrexian
Okay, I mean, we
Altar.
can keep going.
Yeah.
Phyrexian Altar, Sensei's Divining Top.
Ooh, Teferi's
I mean,
Protection was pretty nice. Same thing with
it's
Smothering Tithe. And that artwork on that
okay.
other
We can just
Smothering
keep going.
Tithe. Yeah. Oh, that new one with
I'm
like
just
all
saying
the
that set
coins
we
and
can
the
keep going on.
face. Ooh.
How about even the commons, right?
Oh, legit.
Monastery Swift Spear,
Yep.
right? We have even in the uncommons, Young Peasy,
Oh, yeah, right.
Young
Yeah.
Pyromancer, Blood
Really
Artist.
cool version of
I mean, just
Washout. I
this
think it
set
was the
is
first foil of
so
that. Yeah, so many good cards and a lot of borderless ones that you could get in the regular draft boxes. So people that weren't able to afford the collector's version of it were, yeah, Shadowborn Apostle. Like people were pulling good cards out of regular packs. So everybody got to have a good time with it. And it was pretty well
Animar.
priced. Yeah, I mean,
I
you're
mean,
getting you're getting good stuff.
Damnation.
Yeah. And
I
don't
mean,
get me
we
wrong, there
can
was
go
no
on and
box
on.
toppers. So, big loss right there. Negative on that product. No box toppers this time, Bob.
Okay, but I'm just saying it when we look at this Joker in the rearview mirror, and
Yeah,
if they don't
yeah.
reprint a lot of these soon,
No, yeah,
ooh,
it's just gonna
we're
start
gonna
creeping
look
right
back at this
back
one and go,
up.
"How did I miss
Yeah.
out?" It's like I'm telling you now, it's pretty low. It's pretty good, especially I've been buying singles. You know what I bought recently,
Oh,
just as an add-on. So I got a card for BBD, because he sent me a bunch of stuff. Hopefully he gets it before Christmas. If not, I'm watching this later, BBD. Hopefully you enjoy it. But there were 3 cards that I just said, yeah, I've got to pick those up because they're just so baller. I
right.
bought 3 copies of the extended art Mirari's Wake. Yeah, Mirari's Wake's also in there, folks. And
Oh
what a
yeah,
great
yeah.
if you've never played with Mirari's Wake and you play in Selesnya, try that Joker. It's a pretty
Oh
damn
yeah.
good card.
Stuff does work.
Doubling up
Yeah.
your mana. And I got them for like maybe $3 a piece. So I bought
Oh
3 copies of
jeez.
the
Yeah.
extended art just to like get above whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Get
it was
get
like
that free
I
shipping.
want
Yeah.
those. So I'm buying. I'm preaching I'm
Hmm.
practicing what I preach. Even in a scale back, it's like every time I go in, the first thing I do in TCG Player, if I'm just trying to get above a certain threshold or I just want to buy a card for somebody else and I want to throw a couple of the things
Hmm.
in, might as well pick up Ether Vials. So now I have a play set of the full art Ether Vials with Dak Faden's hand coming out there because I
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
that was just baller art. Picking up like Pan Harmonicon. That's what
Oh
I'm
yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
I am buying a lot of Double Masters singles, especially the non-foil full
Yeah.
arts because I don't
Exactly.
want them
Yeah.
curling. So
Yeah.
don't sleep on that one, folks. It's kind of a good time to be picking up singles out of that set.
And same thing for Dominaria United, which we had in September. Another really solid set with the chase for the Legends cards in the collector's packs that had a real big, boom for it. Seemed as though that went over pretty well with the community. And there were
I
some
think
really
it's honestly
solid
gonna
singles there.
I think it's gonna play out even more in the future. It's kind of like
Hmm.
I liken it to like Kaldheim or not Kaldheim, sorry, Kaladesh, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Which was
with
a
the
big thing
inventions.
ish when it first came out.
Yeah.
But look at how sacred people view opening Kaladesh now. It's like,
Right.
ooh, everybody
Yeah.
tunes into a
It could
box
be in
opening.
there. Yeah.
And I think that as it becomes more scarce, especially people coming along that aren't playing now or we're out of Magic right now,
Mm.
with the revolving door, and they come back and go, wait, I can try to hunt for
Yeah.
Eureka and all these other great. Oh, nice. That's awesome. Wow, that's a
Nice.
big hit. But that's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? So in the future, when somebody does a pack opening stream in 2, 3, 5 years from now, and they
Mm.
hit Dominaria United, and they pull that Tabernacle, or they pull a Eureka, or they
Right.
pull a Moat, it's going to be something huge,
Mm.
and I think it'll cause a stir, and people over time will be hunting those packs down. It just will happen. I believe.
Now, one of the
So,
things I don't think is going to be a chase for people years from now is Unfinity. I gotta say, I think that was a pretty big womp womp, in my opinion, for this year. That was,
um,
I think that
I'm
was
going to
a pretty
disagree.
disappointing one for me.
I'm actually
Yeah,
I'm,
what
I'm
is it
actually
that
going to
you did
disagree.
like about it?
Well, I'd like to actually beat the dead horse on Dominaria United. So beyond just the legends and the specialness of that extra little
Mm,
sugar on top, don't forget in that set we have Liliana of the Veil
mm,
making waves again. We have um, a mediocre land cycle, not too terrible. Pain lands are not bad, folks. They're
mm.
untapped dual lands. You just have to take one damage. People crack fetches for damage and then
Yep.
bring in a shock. So I mean, you can tap them for colorless mana without taking damage. They have a place. Don't kid yourself. On top of that, you also have Shieldred, which is just a house. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's not. I'm telling you, it's just not a bad set. There's a lot of other cards that
Mhm.
have some utility in that set, and those are some of the bigger ones that are just like, oof, yeah, you know what? Those aren't bad. And the Shivan Devastator, really not a
Mm.
terrible card either. I like it better than the Copper Dragon, to be quite honest.
I think there was that white card that um,
Oh, you got Leyline Binding, which
yeah.
is just a beast in different formats. Like I think I was watching it in a Pioneer. Somebody playing four of those jokers, and somebody the guy I was watching who was poor Kebby G. I like Kebby G. Go check him out, please. Go give Kebby G a look, a like, a subscribe. He plays very positive guy, very fun to talk to. Does a lot of live streaming. And he put down he finally got out. He cast it Ulamog Ceaseless Hunger,
Oh.
and the guy dropped a Leyline Binding on him, and it was like
Well,
for like one white. There, okay, there's your Eldrazi. Goodbye.
yeah.
I was like, oh Jesus, that was painful.
Ugh.
Because he had like all the lands out. I think he was playing with all of the, like I was saying before, don't miss out on Triumphs, folks. They have all three basic land types on them,
Yep, it's true.
but
They're good cards.
they're amazing cards. So Streets and New Contender for that.
If
But
if you
so what
weren't
I'm saying is
sure,
Leyline
triumphs are
Binding,
good. Yeah.
Leyline Binding out of Dominaria United is going to see play for a long time. It just is. It's a great removal card in lots of different formats.
Yeah.
Now getting to what you were talking about, and don't forget the stained glass is pretty neat.
They were
for,
cool looking.
just art
Yeah.
style. But what you were talking about, Dominaria United, Unfinity, you said you didn't like it. It's an unset.
Yeah.
They have a very mixed bag as far as unsets go,
Mm.
but they do have some crazy nuts card in them, like Saw in Half.
Yeah. Yep.
They
That
do
was
have
actually
even
one of the things we did see for the first time with an unset is that some of the cards are tournament legal and legacy legal, whatever you want to call it. So this is the first time that we are actually seeing cards out of an unset that are playable in other formats than just the sealed. So this is definitely going to be a marker in Magic's history. And same thing with Double Masters 22 actually. That was the first Masters set where they put a new card in it with Cryptic Spires. Now that doesn't seem like much to anybody, but it is. It's the first time they've done.
It's a crack in the dam.
Yeah, and that's what we just saw with the Unfinity set as well. Some of those cards are tournament legal. So, yeah, it's a big change.
Well, beyond that, the Spock lands, right? So
Mm,
the shock lands themselves just being shock lands.
yeah,
If
and
that's
those
the only
looked.
place
And they,
they're
yeah,
going to have a meaningful reprint, look out.
yeah,
That's going to,
and the borderless ones, the full versions. Oh, those look so
well, they're all
freaking
full.
good. Well, I mean the fancy space versions, the
The
SpaceX.
galactic foils.
Yeah, those all looked really cool. At first, I was
And
not
even just
super
the
impressed
basic
with it.
lands,
Yeah,
the basic the Galaxy Basics,
yeah, yeah,
those are sweet looking lands. So,
yep.
while Infinity is not, the banger that like a Double Masters is, or even any of the other standard sets for standard play, it's still a fun
Yeah.
unset, which has its own flavor. It's got its own place. You don't play it every day, but you don't eat steak every day either. If you did, you get pretty sick of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
an
No, I
Infinity
get you.
Knight pulling out a draft box is so much better. Like
Mm.
the last set that they did, what was it, Unsanctioned? Is that what it
Yeah, the
was?
box thing.
What a
Yeah.
now that's a want want set. If you want to go, hey, there's a want want unset. Nobody pulls that off the shelf and plays.
Now, something
Ask
that
Ed; he's got a whole case of it.
I think something that people will be playing more though in the future is Brothers War, which we just saw a couple of weeks ago. Really, it was
Hmm.
November 18th was the official release date on that. And honestly, I did the pre-release for it. Me and my buddy were kind of hyped for it, so we went down to our LGS and got two pre-release packs, and then went back to my apartment here and just right on my computer table did our pre-release event, just him and I. And it was a really fun time. We got some great cards. There's some really big powerhouses out of that, packed full of artifacts. Really played off of some of the other stuff we saw earlier this year. So it was great. Yeah, Brothers
Yeah,
War,
I mean,
honestly, really good.
I think it was a great conclusion set for the year. Um,
I'll be honest, it
you know,
wasn't what I was expecting from the set itself with the Urza Mishra War. I was thinking we were gonna have a different like theme to the whole product itself, the set. I like what we got. That's just my evaluation on it. I thought it was going to be something a little bit different, but I liked the retrospective look on it. That it was from a certain standpoint in time previously, so it was kind of cool. And we got some pretty interesting lore, some really great cards, right? I mean,
and I think
Phyrexian Flesh
we're
Gorger.
still going to see
Yeah.
interesting interactions that haven't really become popular yet. And with so many different formats out there, things just play very differently.
Mm.
And I'm not even going to profess to say that I even understand the impact on all the different formats that things affect when they come out in a standard set, like Pioneer and Pauper and Modern.
Yeah.
Standard seems to be okay. It's in an okay place. I don't think you have people like when you have the Throne of Eldraine type super overpowered, super overcharged sets. That's problematic, right? People were
Mm.
complaining during the entire stretch of Throne of Eldraine. They're like, what a bad time until that rotated out. That was for Magic, and that's because this set was so powerful in Throne of Eldraine.
Mm.
It was absurd, and so they had to ban the shit out of cards. I'll say they've done a great job, and if you look, it's about 2 years, down the road. They haven't done a lot of bannings lately.
Yeah, that's true. There have not been many cards that have gotten the axe of recent. Yeah,
So,
they've kind of worked
kudos
out
to
some of their
them.
design flow. Yeah.
Kudos to them for changing the design to where they didn't just,
Mm.
overpower the shit out of everything and just produce
Right.
whatever to push a set and then have to ban the Joker, right?
Yeah.
Like, I do fear that may happen in Commander for
The new
Elish
Shieldred.
Norn.
Yeah, the new Norn. Pardon.
Yeah, that one, like, I have a feeling that's going to
Yeah.
cause a lot of salt.
I know I don't want to see it.
Uh, I don't know about the whole set, Brian, but certainly Elish Norn is like in the red zone of
Yeah.
like looking at you for banning. But to that point, we haven't had these massive
Mm.
um, bans, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Turgid, I think, is somehow self-regulated. I think
Yeah.
like
People
when
are
I played
just
it, I'm like,
aware
nope.
of what they're getting into. And I think,
No,
back
first
to
off, I don't want to die because
yeah.
I put Turgid out as a commander. Like
And
people are, we're maturing,
yes,
as
right.
commander.
We're figuring it ourselves, yeah. One of the things I did like about the Brothers War, I didn't get to do the chase myself, but the serialized cards and the schematic cards in there was real big. People absolutely went gaga over the chance to get a 420 out of 500 Mox Amber or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the only criticism I have of that is they shouldn't have made a list of 64 serialized cards. They should have
Right. Yep.
limited that to 10 or less. I would have picked 5,
Yeah, do
like
like
the
they did
Mox
with the
Amber and the Worm
texture foils.
Coil
Yeah.
and like maybe Swiftfoot Boots, to
Yeah.
get maybe Mishra's Bauble.
Mm.
Just pick
Some of
some,
the
real
classics.
juicy. What's
Yeah.
that?
Some of the classics, some of the real standout cards that have been
The
around
more
for a
staple
while.
kind of cards that they did print, because a lot of them are
Yeah.
kind of just jank. Chromatic Lantern, that sees a lot of play.
Mm.
But just pick a handful, right? It's they're like the kid when you leave the candy bowl out Watsy. They're like that when you don't want to go out there and hand out candy to every kid, so you just put a bowl out and say, take one. They're the fat kid that comes along and dumps the whole bowl
Yeah,
in
yeah, it
in
takes
their
everything.
bag.
Yeah.
It's like, I told you take one, Watsy. And it's like they always have to overdo stuff, right? That's unfortunate. I'm not trying to just go bashing. But why 64? Like,
Yeah.
Jesus,
It's a bit
nobody's even going to get
heavy-handed.
one of each. Like you took something that could be like a new collectible means, a new collectible subcategory, if you will, for the collectors out there,
Yeah.
and you try to get 5 or 10 serialized cards. Like, it doesn't have to be every serialized card, but you understand what I'm saying. Like, one of each of the serialized cards, if there's like only 5 or 10, you will have people,
Yeah, they can accomplish that.
buying
Yeah.
those, and they'll go after it. But when you put 64 out there and
That's just
these things are
yeah,
like
you can't accomplish that.
a couple hundred each, it's like, I'm not spending $6,000
Thousands of
on the
dollars.
secondary
Yeah,
market to get
that's-
one of each. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Now, speaking of spending thousands of dollars on the market, those Warhammer 40K decks, those foil versions of those were insanely ridiculous, like overpriced. The hype on those was just craziness. The decks themselves were phenomenal. Like the Warhammer 40K decks, I had heard, I think in an EDH Rec episode, there was an average of 40 new cards in each of the Warhammer 40K decks, which was the largest influx new cards for commander decks. And those things were powerhouses, very strong decks, good synergy inside of them. They worked well. They were good, well-made decks. I think we actually play tested with one or two of them on our commander raids. I think Prime had brought one of those, and it worked very well. So good universes beyond entry products as well this year.
I'll say on that note, though, realize that we know there's another print wave coming for those.
Oh, which is,
so I
yeah.
would be very, very leery unless you absolutely need to get it for some specific reason right now. I would wait for the reprints to come out, and because I have a feeling those are going to drop significantly.
Oh, that would be phenomenal. I'd love to see those at the, $49.99 price tag. See that thing go down notably would be good. I'd like to see more people playing those. There's some really great cards in it. It'd be great if people, cracked them and sold them on the secondary market as well to see some reduction in the price there.
What I would love to see them do, what would go a long way for public relations, is if they only reprinted the non-collector version of it.
Right, just the regulars. Yeah.
Just the regulars, and to get people the product, the players, it would give the players, what they need, which is getting the same decks at lower prices without hurting the collector item, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be transparent, I don't have any of them. Like,
yeah.
I did want to buy one of the decks for my buddy for Christmas, but I didn't want to pay $75 for a deck, and I know that they're coming out with a reprint in a month or two here. So
right, and also I have seen unboxings of the collector versions of those. They foil. The foil versions are all curled. The whole deck, you pull it right out, and you've got 100 curled cards in your hand right off the bat.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. But that's just foils in general, and I think that all right. So, wow, I sound so negative for such a positive stream, but what I foresee happening in the near future, just like what it changed my buying habits, what I said a little bit ago, is that I was specifically targeting the full art non-foils from Double Masters.
Right.
For that very reason, is that I don't want these, and this is even in a sleeve. I don't know if you can see that Joker.
Oh, yeah.
There.
Yeah.
And that's in a sleeve, So if that was just sitting out, it's like I don't want that in my decks. When I can see that there's sort of like a separation when it's sitting there, I hate that, and I double sleeve.
That was one of the qualms I had with Double Masters 22 collectors in specific as well, was that it being foiled product, you get a lot of curl cards that are supposed to be really expensive and awesome. That was actually really flat. Yeah, no, that was totally fine.
And the etched are doing wonderful.
Yeah, etched cards are phenomenal. I love
that. But regular foils, yeah. So until they figure out the curling. Secondly, just the massive amounts that they're printing of all foils. Foils are not special. They're just not.
And we're actually seeing a reduction in foil quantity in Dominaria Remastered. I believe it's 1 out of 3 packs in your draft will have a traditional foil. So it would be nice just to see less of them and done well.
Yeah, and I mean that's the direction that I'm personally going because I
Mm.
don't care if the value is higher on a thing because I don't grade any of my cards.
Right, right, right.
I think that all my cards, I'm not saying people shouldn't grade them. I don't want them in a slab because once you do, then it just goes on a shelf and I can't like look at that awesome card I can't play with.
Right,
It's
yeah.
like that sucks. So um I don't want to have super awesome cards that curl on me and I can't really play with them because
Mm.
they wreck the game for me. So hopefully they get that addressed at some point, but it's been a couple years now. And
Yeah.
when I spoke with Mark Rosewater about it, I mean, that was what Matt and I spent the most time talking to Mark Rosewater about, in all honesty, was
The quality of
the
cards.
pringling foils. And
Yeah.
and then he got really kind of upset at me when I tossed. I was like, every set you've made that has every Pringle in it, you also make foiled cards that don't Pringle. Every set, you have the technology.
Yeah.
See, this is a foil card. Do you see how pringly that is?
Flat
No, because it's
AF.
not Pringled. You know what it is?
Yeah.
I'll give you a guess as to what it is.
Double-sided token.
Double-sided
Yeah.
foil tokens, flat as a pancake. And I just
Yeah.
chucked one across the table, and I'm like, you make them every set. And I don't know. For those of you that didn't hear the story, he says, "Oh, but we can't foil the back side of cards because it makes them not tournament legal." I said, "Well, what happens with the modal dual face cards that are double-sided foils?"
Yeah.
And he stopped for a second. He goes, well, we made an exception for those. And I said, well, then double side all of your foils and make exception for foils.
Right.
Make exception for double-sided foils that they can be tournament legal. Right? Because I'll tell you what, this in a sleeve, it might be whatever, how many micrometers, thicker than a non-double-sided foil, if it only had foiling on one side, is far harder to detect in a deck once it's sleeved up than a Pringled foil.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely
Meaning
stand
this
out.
is far less of a marked card than a Pringle in a deck.
Oh, absolutely. I've got a couple of cards in my Kaikar deck. It's like, they just stand out. One of these Honor of the Pure I have in foil. It just looks so terrible. It just got this big old hump in it like a camel.
So I'll just say that was one of the things that Mark, I warned him. I was like, hey, can I ask you some tougher questions? He didn't even say yes. He said, that depends on how tough they are.
Well,
like,
and
okay,
speaking
fair
of
enough,
tough
but
questions,
here it comes. And I
speaking of
did. I kind of tore into
yeah.
Mark Rosewater, but I will still say, as much as I tore into him, the public is being very unfair with the guy.
Yeah.
And he didn't even get to make the decisions that everybody's bashing him for. Yeah, he just, no offense, Mark, if you're listening, what the chances of that are like almost
Yeah,
none.
right.
But if you are, Mark, shut up. Don't tell so many people so many things that you can't deliver,
Yeah.
that are not in your wheelhouse. I know you like talking to people, and people would love to embrace you. But when you say things that are contradictory to the direction of the company, like, we're not going to violate the spirit of the reserve list, that's not company policy. That's Mark Rosewater policy.
Mm.
And he doesn't get to make that call.
Yeah,
So,
that's yeah. And
it's like
speaking of
asking
people,
a cop about changing laws. Cops don't change laws,
right, they just enforce them. Yeah.
right? So it's like yelling at cops for bad laws. Well, they don't make the laws.
Yeah.
You need to be yelling at your politicians because those are the jokers that make laws.
Yeah. And
So
we this year
we're
kind of had to
we're essentially yelling at the cop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
we did get to finish out the year with Jumpstart 2022, and that seems to have
Oh,
been
yeah, I forgot about that.
a good return back to the original quality of Jumpstart. It was a lot like the first one. There's some really great cards in Jumpstart 22, and they've got some very adorable anime cards in them as well that honestly
I saw
did
you
some
open
really
some,
great
right?
value. Yeah. Yeah, I've actually got a little bit more here. I'm going to open up tomorrow. So I think somebody
Nice.
out in the audience is actually going to get a pack of Jumpstart 22. So they could get something great.
Nice. I mean, I have never bashed Jumpstart 2022. I just had to, I had to cut back.
Yeah.
It's been more than I
Yeah.
wanted to this year. Now, I honestly, for the, saying that, I think that's 1,000% the first product line they need to cut. Even as much as I
Oh,
hate
yeah.
set boxes,
All those.
they
Yeah.
need to stop that. Do not make Jumpstart for every single
Yeah.
set. Stop.
They need to make it a specialty product, not a special
a year.
line of products. Yeah.
Right. Once a year. And
Yeah.
you know what I think should be in it? I think it's fine to nab cards from every single set, curated throughout the year to make, theme throughout the year. I think it should be like the last set of the year, and it should have curated cards from the sets throughout the year,
Yeah, that
special
would be
versions,
cool. Yeah.
And kind of tie the whole year together. I
Yeah.
think that would be amazing. Right. And I love the fact that they did the anime, and I think that they could pick something else special for treatment.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they could put serialized cards in there. They could do something special to make the Jumpstart super special for, like beginners to tie the whole year together. They could really do something special with that, but they've done exactly the opposite by putting it in every single release.
I think one of the things that would be really cool for a Jumpstart product is like once
thank you,
every
Sherry.
2 boxes. Yeah, thanks, Sherry. Um, Once every 2 boxes, imagine you get a pack that's just rares or mythics.
God packs?
Yeah, just do that every once in a while. Like,
Sure.
not
Case
and
hit.
I think for the product itself, for being Jumpstart, if it's for people getting into it, that would be incredible. That would be super helpful. Except you couldn't use
It
it.
would break the mechanics of Jumpstart, to be quite honest.
Yeah, and you couldn't use it because you would need all the lands. And they're pretty fat packs. They're 20 card packs, so
So I don't know how they could do it, but they could do something special. Like
yeah. Yeah.
maybe like super gold foily wacky pack, that every card has a super treatment on it instead of just a normal. But in
Yeah,
any case, they could do
all
something way
showcase
special
cards.
with it.
Yeah.
In any case, I think that they need to reassess their vision for that. I'll tell you another thing that they need to reassess. They need to stop making commander decks with every set. Needs to stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like go back to, in my opinion, once a year. And this will help the LGSs cut down on SKUs, right? Either make them like I had no problem with the Universes Beyond. I don't think anybody did with the Warhammer. Make
No.
one of those a year, and then make a standard, 4 or 5 deck, commander set for the year, like they did for years actually.
Yeah, and I gotta
But they
say,
only released the commander decks for that year.
I was so pleased with the Warhammer 40K decks. That was a really good product, and I'm just so happy. My voice broke a bit there, getting emotional. I'm just so happy that Wizards didn't screw it up because they have with so many other crossover products. And like Transformers, we just saw in the Brothers War, it was a real stubbed toe. I don't know why it was there. It made no sense for the Transformers cards to be in Brothers War. They weren't part of the Urza Mishra battles. So
It definitely felt like an odd duck in that set. Like I know a lot of people love them, but I think they'd have been far better off. No offense, just as a secret layer.
mm-hmm.
And then you just make the secret card from the secret layer one of the valuable shattered glass.
Right. Yeah.
Like they do randomly with the what do they call, like the blueprints.
Yep. Yeah. The schematic cards.
You do the same thing for the valuable. Like you just the standard one is Starscream or whatever is the normal one that you get in 95% of the secret layers, but then you get one in 20 packs has a shattered glass foil.
It's got that cool
You know what I mean?
version on it. Yeah.
And then you have that chase even within the secret layers. And I think everybody would have been totally happy with that, getting a bunch of Transformer cards that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. It was not a good look.
Yeah.
And I think that the Jumpstarts are doing that. I think that the commander decks, like when's the last time you bought the full set of commander decks for a set?
I have never ever done that.
I did all the way, like when they were first doing it
It's,
up through, let me see, when did I stop? I stopped, I think, at like Midnight Hunt. No, I did Crimson Vow. And I realized that these are just, they're nonsense. I mean,
yeah.
it's not worth it to chase them. They haven't gone up in value.
Yeah,
Some
it's
of them really
bloated
suck.
product
Like,
lines. It's just a waste of store shelf space. It doesn't feel like it's worthwhile to get them. If
go
anything,
into
it's
like
just,
Walmart. They
yeah.
always have commander decks available at over prices.
Yeah, it's funny.
like,
I was
okay.
at Walmart getting some packs and stuff for the giveaways and whatnot tomorrow, and I was like, "Oh, I could get a deck, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to do that." It's like,
Yeah, I mean,
nobody would
so
want that. Yeah,
they could definitely curate their product line and their SKUs a lot better than what they're currently doing, and that's a bad stewardship thing, and that's what frightened me most from the fireside chat. I hope that they do some of this within the next 24 to 36 months. If they don't, it's going to be rough.
so I'm looking on the positive for a bad year ahead for Magic. If there's multiple product lines that come out month after month and release after release. Like I said, I'm not really looking forward to this whole Phyrexian arc. I don't think it's really going to be for me. There's going to be a lot of stuff that I get to go back and enjoy. Like I said earlier, never opened Theros Beyond Death. I opened one pack of Kaladesh, absolutely loved it. Artwork was phenomenal. I have an
Yep.
opportunity to go and buy that. There's stuff from I could get an Ikoria box. Oh, dude, that stuff's still great. There's things from all sorts of different
You'll go
eras
back
of
and get Time
Magic's
Spiral
history.
Remastered.
Yeah, like there's so many great buys right now and will be coming ahead as more people are buying less product. We'll be able to indulge in some of these other things. So,
I'll
silver
tell you
lining,
this:
you
if
know,
if double
there's
if Double Masters drops much more, I'm not talking about the collector boxes because I have a, not because they're not good, but because I only have 2 draft boxes.
mm,
Because I bought like 2 cases plus of the collector boxes.
yeah,
That's the one that I've been eyeballing. I keep waiting to see if it drops like below the $250 a box
right,
threshold.
yeah,
I'm snatching them up. I mean, there's just
yeah,
no question in my mind. I mean, would I rather have a Dominaria remastered box or a Double Masters 2022 box for $50 more? Like, it's not even a question. I want the Double Masters box
yeah,
way more. There's
yeah.
so many more cards in there. Like, go through. Like, don't take my word for it. Go on, you know, Echo
MTG
MTG. Look at
stocks
the
or
full
whatever.
list of
Yeah.
cards out of Double Masters. It's a banger. It's chock full of stuff. And not that Dominaria Remastered isn't. And I'm excited for
Mm,
people. I'm just not investing in it because I have most of the cards myself already, and the ones that I
right,
don't,
right.
I'll just buy, singles of when they drop in 3 to 6 months after people cracking them.
Mm,
So there will be some of that for me, and I'm not saying that's what you guys should do. I'm saying that's what I'm doing. Uh, but I would say that I expect it honestly to follow this, follow suit with. It'll be somewhere between TSR. I don't think it's going to be quite TSR. I think they're
yeah, me
going to
neither.
print more because that's just what WotC does.
Yeah, absolutely.
TSR was a
Yeah,
test set for this,
yeah.
and
And now that they're
you know,
aware of how good this product could be, I think that
they're not
they'll
going to leave
get a
any on the
lot
table.
more of it to market.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I have a
don't.
feeling we're going to see a significant amount of availability more than TSR
Yeah,
was.
I don't think
That would
that.
just be a bet.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know this
would.
for sure,
Yeah,
people. This is a gut feeling, and it's just
mm,
basing it off of WotC's
yeah,
behavior and their own admission that if they release a set and it goes up significantly in value, they made a mistake. And I don't think they're going to try to make
yeah.
that mistake. I think they're going to overprint the shit out of it, sell as many as possible, and then whatever doesn't sell 6 to 8 months from now, dump it on Amazon. That seems to be their model.
Mm. Yeah, and like we were saying, I I think it's a great time to even that. I scope around Amazon pretty much every single day since I do a lot of pre-orders and stuff through there. I want to make sure I'm getting good prices, evaluate as we get closer to release and cancel them if they're not good still. Most of them I've had to do just that with. Is that if something doesn't look good, with spoilers coming out all the time before the products actually release. You can tell if it's going to be worth to buy the product or not. And most of them have just been click and cancel. So I'm on Amazon pretty frequently, and I see a lot of great deals on there all the time. So same thing with LGSs. There's a lot of card shops that have an online store, so you can actually go online there and do it that way. Game Nerds, Prodigy Games, Smoke and Mirror. There's a lot of great hobby shops and online retailers that, if you're smart, you can get good buys. Even if it's not the new stuff, could be new to you.
Speaking of good buys, I think that about wraps it up with the jump start and
Yep,
the great values that we can get out there. I'm going to go check with my family before they start eating,
exactly.
chips and snacks and things, and
Yeah,
try to get
tis.
some real food in them. I haven't
Yeah,
cooked in the
I'm gonna
house,
do
so
the same. Get some food in me and get some good night's rest. I got to make sure I'm not awake for when Santa Claus comes by. So until next time, I've been Pat the Pauper, joined by MTG Game and Bob, and thank you all very much for coming by this evening. You take care
Merry
and
Christmas,
be well.
everybody. Peace, love, spread love. Go check out Commander Raids. Later.